Hi, I'm Ron Johnson of RJ's Farm, Horsemanship Communication. I want to thank you for tuning in. Today I wanted to introduce you to a horse. Her name is Callie, and she's right there. And she's, I don't know the best way to put this. Nervous, standoffish, doesn't really want to participate. I'm gonna just move around here in a way that gets her attention and kind of draws her to me. So as you can tell, she's facing to the right and I'm moving to the left. And if she looks at me, I'm just gonna back up and invite her in. So I know a lot of people, they'll do a join up, take them to a round pen or something and, run them in circles a little bit and, until they show all the signs of relaxing and then invite them in. I don't like to do that. I used to do something similar a long time ago. But now I feel like some horses, and she's definitely one of them, need a little more respect than that. And so I'm gonna walk in a way that, and I don't know if you can tell by the circle, but I'm walking, creating a bigger circle that I am drawing on the nose and I'm pushing on the hind end. So even though it's not directly into or directly out of, I am still pushing on the hind end and drawing on the front end. So basically, I'm putting out a reciprocating energy that goes in the back end of the horse, travels up the spine, comes back out the forehead and nose back to me. And so she's not, so I might put a little heavier pressure on that hind end here. Now I'm going to draw away a little bit. I don't know if I lost you. Okay. And so my goal here is to invite her in. So now I'm going to come to the other direction. My goal is to invite her in. I want her to understand that I would like for her to be with me, but it's her choice to do so. Okay, so we're in this really big pen. I don't know if you can see the boundaries here. The fence. Every place it's dirt is inside the fence, and every place it's grass is outside the fence. So we are in a really big pen. I think it's 200 by 250. So I much prefer to work with a horse that can't be caught in a big area and give them all the choice in the world to whether they want to come with me or if they want to leave. It's their choice. But I want to make sure that they have the opportunity to choose, and right here I have the opportunity to say thank you. And so by doing that, I'm going to get her a little bit more willing to connect. So when I first met this horse, I went with the owner to go get her, and they brought her out in a halter, and yeah, she led good in a halter and got right on the trailer. That wasn't a big deal. But you could tell when you went to pet her, she'd pull her head away. And then when we turned her loose, going to get her again was not easy, and it was a few weeks before I went back to her place again, and she was still exhibiting that kind of behavior. Although her owner was able to, get up to her and pet on her and whatnot, and she could get a halter on her, but it wasn't easy. What she would do is And she was in a fairly small, I mean, it opened up in the back, but if she was on the top side, it was a fairly small pen. And what she'd do is she'd go run behind a tree, and there's this big rock sticks up out of the ground about knee high that she gets behind it, and you have to almost go over the rock to get to her. And then as you're climbing over the rock, she wants to run off again. So you know, so she needs to know that she has a choice to be a part of things or not. And I've done this with her, and her resistance right now has everything to do with me holding my phone up at her face and not working in my posture the way I normally do. And I'm talking, and I'm holding a lead rope and a halter, you know, so that's holding her back. If I dropped all this stuff, put the phone outside the pen, and didn't say a word, you know, she would have already circled back in and started leading by my side. So here she's leaving. I'm just gonna come in behind her, and I'm gonna try and get her back in that left eye. Yep, good. You know, so she left in the left eye. I want to get her back in the left eye. If she leaves in the right eye, I want to get her back in the right eye. You know, if you can do that, it sinks in a whole lot better. You know, if it's bad for them, here she comes. Good girl. Good girl. So now I'm going to go the other way. You know, so if they leave and they put you in the wrong eye, you know, oh good, she's coming right over. Nice. And so I don't know how I'm going to be able to film when she gets in, but so you can't tell. Maybe you can. I'll move in a way that you can see my shadow if I point to the ground. See my shadow. Now she's up here, so I'm going to turn a little bit so that my shoulders are lined up with where I'd like her to be when we walk. Now I can almost reach out and touch her right now. So I'm going to I'll try to keep you able to look at her. So again, I'm getting bigger and further away, but she's kind of shying away a little bit too. So, and now, just so you know, this walk I'm doing is still drawing the nose towards me and still pushing on the right side of her hind end. So now it's more so evident now that I'm on this side that I'm pushing on the right side of her hind end, you know. And so if she's not going to come, I'm going to turn in, put energy to the hip, and then see she started the back, and then I draw, right? So what happened was there was a little barrier, and it was a mental, maybe emotional. She's not showing emotion at the moment, but it might have been might have had an emotional attachment. But it was a mental blockage that didn't allow her to do what was necessary. Here she comes. Good. She's getting closer. She's shying away. So here I might back up a little bit, push on that hind end, stick side step to get her to come to me, pause, say thank you. Now I have two hands. Well, maybe I can do it this way. There we go. Hold the halter and the phone with one hand. Nope. So the phone and the halter up in her face like that as I approach her is not good. So, but this is good. This shows you what I went through a few days ago in order to get it, and it got really good. So now I'm dealing with it with a different type of distraction. You know, my assumption is, because once you get this horse and start doing stuff with her, she knows a whole lot. Like, she don't need training. She needs to know that she can trust us, you know. And I see this a lot. I see this an awful lot. Horses have a good training, they get a good start, you know, whether they came from a good breeder who put a good start on them and sold them as a good rideable horse, and then they go somewhere else and that person maybe has a little bit of trouble with them, doesn't fully understand them. This happens all the time. everybody wants to buy a trained horse. They buy a trained horse, but yet they don't know what the horse knows or what the horse can do. So here I'm going to walk into the butt, draw away from the face. Good girl. Good girl. So now I'm going to grab the foam and I'm going to lower it. And I don't know, maybe I can do this. And then see if she'll let me better. Yeah, with the phone down away, she seems to be a little bit better. So I'm going to draw her to my hand. Nope. So the phone has a clear case, and it is a chrome phone. So here I'm just going to walk towards her, push on that hip, draw her back over. You know, so it might have a little shine to it. It might, you know, and the fact that I'm talking to nobody, you know. So here we go. I'm going to try and lower it again and see if she'll let me walk up. Good girl. So she's looking. I'm going to stop and back up a little bit. Hopefully you guys can see her. I don't know. I can't see the screen. Good. When she looks away as I approach, the minute she starts to re-engage, I want to thank her for that. My goal is to not have to chase her face and to have her stand right there and let me pet right between her eyes. That's the goal. Let's do that again. And draw her back. And again, the movement I just made pushes on the hind end and draws on the face. So here I might back up, push on that hip. I'm not putting energy directly into the hip. So here I'm gonna put energy directly into the hip. Directly. So basically I'm asking her to turn around. Here we go, she's gonna come. There it is. Okay, how did I know she was gonna come? Because of the softness in her body. She started to soften up. Good girl. And draw her. Good girl. Ask her if I can touch. She says no, so I'm going to draw. She's not. There we go. Now we got two eyes nice and. The body's not straight, so I might continue circling around so that the hind end there. Now she's starting to line up a little bit better. She's going to leave, so I'm just going to push on that hip and draw on that eye. So she's going to leave, so I'm just going to make sure she goes left. She has to go left. Well, all right, so that got messed up. That's going to happen on occasion. So I'm just going to come up. I'm going to stand in front of her. I'm going to ask her if it's okay that I touch her. Now, I'm not going to touch her if she says no, and this is a no, so I'm not going to touch her. I'm going to move over, ask for it. I'm going to move over. I'm going to move over. And I'm going to move over. And so now I'm just going to push right on that hip. And see, she turned around. So the sun is reflecting off my phone anytime she's facing back towards the barn. And so if I'm facing the barn or the tree line, she's fine because it's not shining. But if I'm facing the way she's facing right now, the phone shines. So she's saying no, I don't want to be pet. And that's totally okay. You know, and this is totally different when I'm by myself. If I'm not saying a word, and especially if I don't have a halter on. But you would think that having the halter, because generally, once I'm done with this, I put the halter on and I take her over there and release her into that pen where she gets to have grass. So you would think that she'd be in a hurry to get this halter put on. But she's got reservations, you know. There's something about her that is not comfortable with people, you know. And so here, this time I'm gonna go and I'm gonna push on her hip, but I'm not gonna stop facing the sun. We're gonna have to go past. I'm gonna go past. I'm gonna go past. So push and draw. Good. Okay. Okay. So she's gonna keep doing this. Then I might have her walk a couple circles. Now, oh, I was almost gonna pet her. I thought she was gonna let me. She just shied away, so I'm gonna draw her back. I'll move a little bit. That's not doing anything, so I'm gonna reach. She looked at me. So she acknowledged me, which told me it was okay. Now, is it absolutely okay with that? No. That body language was just, all right, if you're going to do it already, go ahead and do it. But I still waited for her permission. We want we want her to come right to the hand. That is an absolute, yes, you can pet me. Okay? She has a say, and she needs to know she has a say. Because if she doesn't know that, then she's going to fight for it. Good girl. So I'm telling her what I'd like to do, asking for her permission to do it, and I'm waiting for her to approve. I don't know if that makes sense, but hopefully it does. Now this is something I do with every horse. Some horses get it right away. Some horses just want to be with you all the time. You know, good girl. Good girl. Now she's coming to the hand. Nope, I lost her. I'm really hoping I'm pointing this phone in the right direction for you guys. Now she's saying, I don't think so. So I say, you sure? Is it okay? No? Okay. How about you come with me? You want to come with me? Good job. Can I come to you? Good girl. Good girl. Okay, and so now I'm going to walk away. I don't know if you, again, I don't know. I can't see the screen of my phone. I'm just trying to keep it pointing in her direction. I'm holding it down by my hip. It seems to be less intrusive to her that way. Along with the halter and lead rope is down by my hip as well. So here I'm gonna go back to walking my circles to see if I can get her to kind of come to me. And so pretty soon if I get, oh good, if I got to the fence I would have been stuck. Good girl. Oh, I'm losing her. So now can I do this? I'll have to put it in my right hand, because if I put it in my left I'll probably block the camera. Okay, so I am walking in a way that is drawing her eye and putting energy into her left hip. She's turning, but she's not coming. So I'm really there it is, that's a forward step. So I'm gonna face her and back up. Okay, so now we'll switch hands again. And I'm walking, drawing her face, pushing on her right hip. And here she comes. Good, so I'll face her and back up. Now I'd like for her to continue coming. So where I got all kinds of extra room, I'll continue a little bit here. Good girl, good girl. And if she gets away from that fence a little bit, I don't know if she's going to be able to. Well, I'm gonna try just adjusting my angle. Good girl. All right, so at this point, I'm better off going the other direction. And so, yeah, I could probably walk right up the fence and I want to be able to walk right up the fence and then have her follow me away from there. But I'm trying to be way outside the bubble. You know, so I don't know. I'm guessing I'm probably 20 feet, maybe a little more away from her. Could be closer to 30. I don't know how to judge. But I want to be outside the bubble, because like once you're in there with her and our bubbles are overlapping, she tends to follow reasonably well. Like, she thinks she's in a halter. And so where her problem is at a disconnect, trying to reconnect. So here we go. What's going to happen here? There, that's good. So I'm drawing as I walk. I'm still walking my circle, but I'm getting further away from her. So now I'm going to tighten up my circle a little bit, put a little energy on that hind end. Now I'm going to draw her away. And if she stops, I'm going to tighten my circle a little bit, push on that hind end as a little closer. Now I'm going to draw her away. Oh, she's backing up. So that was too much push. She backed. So here we go. I'm going to push on that hip and draw. Good. That was an adequate amount. Let's try the other direction now. Okay. Okay, and so here, I'm just walking a spiraling circle, drawing on her face more than I'm pushing on her hind. She's stuck. Oh, she's backing. Ah, there we go. There we go. Oh, she's going the other way, so I'm going to switch sides. All right, I want to continue on to this side, but I don't want her going ahead of me. This is good. She's coming to me. That's awesome. Here we go. I'm going to pause a little bit. Now you notice she's more comfortable with me in her left eye. Like, even when I'm going in this direction, pushing on her right hip, I'm generally doing that from the left side. She transitions into the left eye from this side very, very easily, you know. And so I'm gonna just keep drawing until she walks up and kind of puts herself in a leading position, which she does wonderfully. Unfortunately, she's not doing it right now to show you. Here we go. I'm drawing. I'm walking almost straight with her, and she's continuing to walk. This is good. This is good. So now I'm going to slowly start to turn, because I'm going to run out of room and hit the fence if I don't. Now she stopped, so I got to go a little bit tighter and draw. Start walking forward. Good. She's getting closer. And so I'm going tighter, and I'm opening up. There, here she comes. She's getting closer. She's not quite in leading position yet, but she's getting there. She's not passing me, and that's closer, even still. So I'm walking a really big circle now. Oh, this is awesome. This is awesome. Can I pet you, sweetie? No? Okay. So I'm just going to walk and say, well, I'm happy if we just walk together. So she didn't like this little wet spot, so she's leaving. So here, I'm going to just turn around. I'm going to push on her hip from this side. Here it comes. Right? Did you see the softness in the hind end flowing? That's how I knew she was coming. Good girl. Good girl. Okay, so here I'm going to back up, which is pushing on her hind end and drawing her face. If she gets too far, So I'm going to back up again. Kind of tell her, I would prefer you come this way and not go that way. Come this way and not go that way. Right? So she's either misreading my energy, or something in her thought process, or within her emotions, isn't allowing her to see it for what it is. Or she does see it for what it is, but she's not allowing herself to commit to it. And that's just lack of trust, right? And that's emotional base. So whenever you're dealing with a horse, if you can boil everything down to, am I getting a yes? Am I getting a no? And what emotion is attached to it? If you can simplify it to that, that's going to help you decipher and work through any problem. You don't need to know the why. You don't need to know, it's good to know the why, but in the moment, you don't need to know that. In the moment, all you need to know is, am I getting a yes? Am I getting a no? And what emotion is attached to it? With those 3 bits of information, you can come up with a plan so that you can turn that no into a yes, or you can reward that yes and relieve any emotion. Does that make sense? I hope so. Right now, I'm letting her know I know what she's thinking. I know how she feels. And I'm doing that by how I respond to the way she responds to me. And I'm not saying, come to me. I'm not saying, move your hind end. I'm not saying, look at me. I'm saying, if I go over here, how do you feel about that? And then I evaluate that. I'm saying, my directional flow of energy is doing this. What does it mean to you? Right? And so when I get responses like these right here, these are opportunities for me to reward that. And then any inhibition or anxiety, she don't look like a crazy foolish horse, but she can get a little more animated. I'm just going to reach up. No, she says no, so I'm going to stay here and say, are you sure? I'm not going to hurt you. Can I draw you back over to my hand? Is it okay? No. Are you sure? Right? So she's telling me, I'm not fully comfortable with that. Right? And so I say, okay, well, would you be at least willing to come and hang out? Right? And so the answer is yes, but there's an emotional disconnect. Oh, it's almost a no. Oh, here comes a yes again, right? And so we got some licking and chewing. So she just had a battle, an emotional battle inside her own mind. She didn't know what to do. She had to work that out. Oh, nope. And so it's real important for me with the work that I do that I don't touch a horse that does not want to be touched. I'm asking for permission. And I know there are people who say you don't ask a horse's permission, you're the leader. And in some cases I might agree with that. But when you're dealing with a horse that has a decent education, who's very scared, or maybe just a scared horse that needs reassurance. If you're dealing with that kind of an emotion, then you kind of, I'm swatting at flies over here, and that's making her nervous. Got one flying around my face. And when you're dealing with those emotions in a horse, You got to prove to them. Good girl. See, the eyes came to me. She told me it was okay. I knew by reaching out that little extra that she wasn't going to move because she told me it was okay. So now I'm going to just walk away. And I'm not saying come with me. I'm walking away and saying my energy's going here. Are you willing to come? Do you want to come? How do you feel about this? Right? And so the distance tells me she's not totally okay with it. But she's understanding that directional flow of energy, and she's willing to go along with that directional, but in her own way, at her own pace. Now she's closing the distance. She's much closer. Almost right now. She just looked at me, so I know it's okay to pet. And I want to thank her for those things, you know? Okay. So I would love to do more of this and show you more. But I have to end this now because my fingers are falling asleep from holding everything in a pinch between a thumb and an index finger. So I hope you enjoyed that. And I know it was a long, drawn-out thing, but it's so important. This to me, I mean, if you can't walk in and show your horse the halter and have them come over and at least let you put it on, they come to you and you put it on. Ideally, I take it to the extreme that they come right over, slip their nose in, and all I got to do is tie it or buckle it or whatever. You know, that's how my horses are. But you know, when it comes to other horses, you know, that's a relationship thing, and I'm not here to create a relationship with this horse that is gonna take over for the owner. So when the owner takes this horse back, they're gonna be like, "You're not Ron. Ron don't do it that way." You know what I mean? They obviously they don't know those words, but the thoughts will be, "You're not like him. What's the matter? No, I need you to be better." And she'll start acting up. And that's where horses get kooky. Why people have problems with horses, because the person who taught them does it a certain way. That's what they're used to. And then somebody else comes along and does it differently. And sometimes it works through real nice and easy. But sometimes the horse really needs you to be better. And when they need you to be better, that's when the emotions come. That's when the anxiety. This is wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Callie. When the emotions come, that gets in the way of everything, because now we start to second guess their abilities and their understandings. Or we, you know, if we're beginners or you know, maybe even intermediates and even advanced horse people, you know, you start to question, am I doing it right? Or, you know, did I do something wrong? What is causing this reaction, you know? And we start looking for the why, and we start creating excuses, and you know, it just gets in the way. So, you know, to step back and just have this conversation, you know, at a distance, you know, the further away the better, you know. And like I said about join up and stuff, you know, I used to work similar to that. You know, the first thing I would do in a horse is start in a round pen, and I followed John Lyon's round pen reasoning methods, which is a little bit more advanced than your typical join up. You know, but, you know, Monty Roberts did the join up really well, you know, but not everybody's Monty Roberts. And so many people mimic that in a way that all they're doing is creating anxiety, and they have to do that every time they get their horse. And if that's the case, then that should be a clue to you that you're doing something wrong. You need improvement somewhere. I'm not saying that the method's wrong. I'm just saying there are ways of doing it wrong, and you need to keep an eye out for that so that you don't make a mess of things, you know. And so I used to do it like that, but now I feel a proper introduction is better. If I go to somebody's office because I need their help with something, and this is the same thing. I'm going to this horse's office because I need their help with something, whether it be, I want to be able to put a saddle on and ride, or I want to be able to hook them up in a harness and pull a cart, or to drag a farm implement, or whatever it is. And maybe I just want to get up there and put a halter on so that I can move them from place to place, so that I can clean out their pen or whatever. I'm going in because I need something from them. So if you relate that to going to somebody's business, going into their office and having a conversation with them, do you barge in and throw a fit, or, put all kinds of energy at them? And if you do, and you're that type of person, they're going to be less likely to want to help you. Maybe they will if they're desperate and they don't have a whole lot of work. But if they can pick and choose their work, they're going to tell you, no, I don't need to work with someone like you, And so I want to be that person that is offering respectful interactions so that this horse wants to be a part of things and is starting to think its way into action. I want to give them choices. I want to show them that we can be great together, and you can virtually do whatever you want, and there's not going to be any recourse on that. And when I say there's no recourse, I'm not going to reprimand her for making a wrong decision that goes against what I want. I'm going to say, okay, that makes sense. Like when she walked away from me, I say, okay, you can walk away. I'm just going to follow. And I follow in a way that just keeps putting that little pressure on her hip until she's willing to look back in. So by her leaving and I stay with her, I say, okay, you can go. I'm going to follow. Right? But I follow in a leadership role. I don't follow like she's leaving and I'm chasing her and trying to get to her. I follow in a way that says, okay, you can go. But even back here, I can control where you go and how you go. Not in a demanding factor, but in a way that says, are you hearing my energy right now? Are you responding to my energy right now? And what kind of emotion is attached in this moment right here? So she can do whatever she wants without recourse. I'm not going to reprimand her. I mean, if she attacked me, I might. First time I'll step out of the way, or if I'm not close enough, she never gets close enough, I'll call her bluff and I'll just go on my own business and just pretend it never happened. But if it happens a lot, like 2 or 3 times in a row, then there'll be a reprimand for that, because that's rude and I have every right to defend myself. But if that's not happening, then whatever she does is totally okay with me. I'm going to let her do it because I want to know more about her. And the more I allow her to make mistakes and guide her through those mistakes into what should have happened, based on thought and energy type, what is the energy saying? What if she was reading the energy properly, what would she have done? It's kind of a thing, not a I want you to yield your hind end, And so I'll give you an example of that right now. If I come over here and I say, I want you to move your hind end, I'm demanding that hind end move, right? But if I'm coming over here and saying the energy is coming over here, which is drawing on your face and pushing your hind end, how do you feel about that, right? Now, I was just a jerk a minute ago. Makes every bit of sense that she'd walk away right now. So I'm going to let her lay down. Makes every bit of sense that she's going to walk away right now. I was just a little too aggressive, which is very unfair. Not that when the relationship is good, like, you know, my 3 very well trained horses, I'll do some of that stuff, but not as a demanding, bossy kind of a way, but because they know it so well that I can just matter-of-factly go there. And it's not taken offensively, you know. But a horse that's learning, when you do that kind of stuff, it very well could be taken offensively. So now I'm going to walk in a way that says, this is what the directional flow of energy is doing. How do you feel it? And if she says, well, I'm not sure, right? So yeah, boom, right? So I'm adjusting a light push on the hip and a light draw on the nose in a way that I can slowly start adding more. So now I'm walking heavier into the hip, but I'm not demanding that she turns and looks at me. The difference between that and the first way I did it, you know, an onlooker might not recognize that, but there is a big difference. So anyways, I do have to stop. I did switch hands with the phone, but now my right hand's starting to get cramped up. But I needed to say something, and I hope you understood, and I hope you got a lot out of this. I know this might be a boring video for some of you, but for any of you who stayed to the end, kudos to you, and thank you, because that means you care, and you want to learn, and there's hope for you. So thanks again. We'll see you in another one.